Hi everyone, Jessie from the Scrappy Sisters. So in this layout I will be creating something with that super cute picture of little Tom. And so I've got two of these gigantic hearts that I'm going to use on my layout. I can't remember where the hearts are from. American Crafts, I think, but I can't remember more specifically what it was about them. But so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to use a Stanley knife to cut them into layers so that there's more than, I end up with like heart frames, if that makes sense. Now I end up only doing sort of piercing the line with the Stanley knife and then cutting them with the scissors because they actually tear really easily. I didn't realize how thin these were. Now I thought I had a heart die, and if I did, that would have been way better and way simpler for cutting these. But it does work, and I am happy with how it looks in the end. But I do need to be careful when I use these again about how thin and flimsy they are, because I did not realize they were so flimsy and so easy to tear and so hard to stick down. So please be wary of that if you have these giant heart stickers. So I'm just doing the little Vanessa trick. That's what Janet over on RTS calls it. I don't even know who Vanessa is. That sounds awful. I probably should find that out. But it's just where you stick washi tape onto white, just normal white cardstock, because it makes the washi tape go more true to colour. I hate it when you stick your washi tape on and it's see-through and it gets all washed out. It doesn't actually have the strength of the color as what it shows you on the roll. So by sticking it onto the white cardstock first, you get the original strength of that color, which is way better. So this layout is going to use that gorgeous heart paper from the Willow Lane collection. It's also going to use that super beautiful royal blue tulle, and then the gold love hearts. And I've got a heading picked out, and I have not even realized that it is the exact same heading that I used like 2 or 3 layouts ago. And I do realize later, and I'm still can't decide whether to change it. My husband says no, just to leave the heading as it is. The layouts are about maybe 4 layouts apart within my album, so they're not right next to each other, and they're reasonably different, but they're even using the exact same collection. So I'm not sure if it bothers me or not that I've actually given them the same title. It clearly shows you where my head's at in terms of all of these layouts of my beautiful little boy. I just want to scrunch him up and love him forever. So because of that, I think I might just keep them, but I'm not sure. So tulle, what am I doing here? I'm ruffling up my tulle. So I have put a strip of double-sided tape down the paper, and as you can see, I'm just doing a little tuck and fold, tuck and fold, tuck and fold, and I'm making sure that fold goes in the same direction each time. There's a little imperfection back there, so I'm pulling it off and doing it again. It's super easy just to pull off and go again because the tulle's like, you know, plasticky. And I was going to use the whole entire amount of the tulle, but I decided when I turned it over and had a look at it that was enough. So I just cut off that last little excess bit, and I'm just straightening up because it's quite difficult to cut tulle perfectly straight, and it doesn't need to be perfectly straight. There was a few sections that were a bit obviously wonky, so I just straightened up those last little bits, sticking on my washi tape there by popping some double-sided tape on the back of the paper and cutting off the excess that's hanging over the side. So I really like the way that looks. I think it's cute. Don't know why that tulle's sticking up there, so I try and fix that up a bit. And then I decide I'm going to back the paper of my photograph on that packaging because I really love the wood grain effect on that packaging, but my photo's too big, so I'm going to cut off the white border, which I originally was going to leave there, because I want to get it onto the packaging, and the packaging's cured. So just cutting off where the staple marks are. I was trying to cut straight through, but I couldn't fit it with the staples still in, and I didn't even think to flip the paper around the other way. Duh. Instead, I pulled the staples out, but anyway, doesn't matter. So I'm just working out how to fit that photo on. I want it to be as central as possible. I want to have the same amount of that wood grain showing through on each side. Even though I said I loved the wood grain, which I totally do, once you put a photo that large on it, you can barely even tell that there's wood grain in the first place. It's just a tiny little pops showing out from underneath. It could be anything. But that's what scrapbooking is all about, isn't it? Choosing the right colours and focusing on, you know, what we like and what's pleasing to the eye. So just popping on little Tom there, and then just evening up the sides, which I think is looking pretty cute. So that's going to get popped up on foam. And I really actually love using the packaging because it is so much firmer than just a piece of paper. So I really love that it really holds, like it's so stiff because it doesn't have very many layers behind that, just one photo and one layer. So I'm just laying out where I want the gold hearts to go, and then that's where my title's going to go. And now I'm going to have a bit of a fiddle with the different bits and pieces in the ephemera pack. Trying to see if I can use those gold leaves, but I think that's a little bit too much gold, and in fact the gold colours don't match, so I think they will get left behind. I'm actually finding it a little bit tricky because I didn't want to just pop on 1,000 flowers again. I feel like I just did that layout, you know, not that long ago. So I'm seeing what else I can pull out that will really inspire me with this layout. Because as much as the flowers are beautiful, I'm like, we just did that. And I just did that the very last time I used this collection. So I am trying to see if I can think of something just a tiny bit different to create this project, because the rest of it's different. So what can I do? What can I do? So I start off, I find that round piece, and that sort of gets me going a little bit on where to head next. And I pull out that chipboard to help inspire me again. What bits and bobs in that chipboard do I like? I've got to be honest here, I am a little bit stuck. You can see my fingers tapping there. I'm not 100% sure how I want to do this. I do find that chipboard's really quite difficult to get off the page, and in this case that worked for me because I can leave the backing on and fiddle around with that butterfly to work out where I want it to go. And I've sort of started to get on a tiny bit of a roll now, but only tiny. I'm still struggling a little bit as to what's going to go where. No, that gold leaf still doesn't work. Funny that. And I'm having a look at, you know, the different colours and the different, and I just don't know. So I'm going to stick on this big gold heart, and this is where I first realised how thin they are, so how challenging they are to stick on. And I'm really being conscious here. I don't want to get a bubble or a wrinkle in this. So I've managed to get that one on okay, and my brain is already going, how am I going to get these cutout ones on? They're going to be so hard. So I persist with it, but I'm a bit worried. So I'm putting foam behind this love heart. Well, I'm having a look at this second love heart. I want to layer them on together. And I want to pop it up to have a bit of dimension. So I'm cutting out really thin bits of foam and popping that all the way around the edge. I just have to be careful not to put it on the edge that's going to be on top of the photograph, because it won't need any foam on it. It will just stick directly to the photo. So I actually stuck that sticker onto white cardstock and then cut it out. So it's a lot easier to work with than it should have been. But the problem with doing that is, of course, I didn't stick it in its perfect shape because it was more flexible and more stretching. So it actually doesn't fit perfectly around the full big love heart that's stuck on the background. So I end up having a lot of trouble getting the love heart frame to sit in the correct spot on the full love heart that's underneath it. I sort of manage it, but it's a bit puckered, and yeah, it's not perfect. But I'm hoping that once I put my title on top of all of that, you won't notice. Hoping being the operative word here. So once I fiddle around with that, because I'm a bit frustrated because it's not sitting the way my brain had wanted it to, and I keep shoving bits of foam underneath it to try and help hold it in the correct place, I then move on to sticking down my title. And so my title, it also needs to be popped up on foam now because it's going on top. And so I am sticking it just straight on here in the video, but I do cut in a second because it takes me ages and pot foam behind each of the letters because I don't like the look of having it stuck flat down when the rest of that love heart, the outside love heart, the border love heart is popped up. So that's all, the title's all been popped up on foam now. And now I'm going to try that top cluster on the top left of the photograph. So it was really difficult to peel those love hearts off once I'd cut them out because there was nothing to grab hold of. So I just got a little needle to help separate the backing. And even when I was doing that, I still managed to tear the love heart, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, but then realized actually no, because it's going underneath the photo anyway, and this might make sticking it down a bit easier. So I end up pulling the whole love heart off the backing, which ends up almost getting into a big, huge, tangled mess. As you can see, these are, like I'm saying it again, these are so thin, these stickers. I did not realize they were so skinny, so thin, not skinny. So they're a little bit hard to work with. So anyway, I managed to get that one down actually relatively easily because of the split in it, and because then hiding that split underneath the photograph, that worked well. And this little one that I'm pulling off now, off screen-ish, just getting that backing off, it's easier too because it's whole. But I wish I had have backed it on white cardstock again, because you can see, because they're so thin, you can see the indent of where that outline one was, which I don't really love. So if I was going to do something like this again, I probably would back all of the hearts on cardstock and then cut them out. They're just so flimsy that I don't love the way they stick down, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Sorry, it's a little bit confusing to explain, but hopefully you know what I mean, because you can see in the video that you can see the outline of the love heart underneath the little love heart, and I don't like the way that looks. So just building that cluster, having difficulty getting the backing off that butterfly, and it's going to go up there. Just need a little bit of foam underneath the wing. I didn't put the foam on first because I wasn't 100% sure where the butterfly would be, so I didn't want the foam to be in the wrong spot. So it's slowly starting to come together now. Slowly, it's not 100%, but we're getting there. I lost one of the cut out love hearts, so I ended up cutting a few more and then using even less than I originally planned, but that's okay. I'll just put them in with the collection, and I might use them on a different layout. I decided that that cluster needed something different down there, so I pulled out that tag, which I think is looking much better. It's sort of giving that cluster something to sit on top that's not just another love heart. I love the look of these gold love hearts, and I wanted these gold love hearts, but it just seemed to be, you know, love heart, love heart, love heart, love heart, love heart everywhere. So I really like having this tag behind. And I like adding on the piece of thread because, again, that's another little texture for the layout. So we've got the tulle, we've got the thread, it's actually crochet, white crochet thread, cotton. And so again, just using different foam, alternating between foam and double-sided tape for sticking these things on. So here I learned from my mistake, and I am not sticking the gold heart straight onto my scrapbook page. I'm sticking it onto white paper first, and then I will cut it out, and it looks much, much better. So I'm glad that I did that this time and didn't just... I wonder if I could pull that love heart off. I think it will be too stuck. I probably shouldn't try, but because it'd be going back in the same spot, if I sort of ripped the page a little bit, it would go on top. But no, don't do it, Jess. You'll be grumpy if you ruin it. Sorry, distracted. So that looks way better being stuck on the paper, because you can't really see the seam or the indent that's made by the things that are underneath, which makes me a lot happier with how the layout looks. And I'm just working out where the last little bits and pieces go. Sorry, I have a little munchkin who is sleeping or was sleeping here with me. He likes noise, being 5 weeks old. He likes noise and he likes things happening. But I think he's just starting to wake up, so I might have to come back to you in a moment. Let's see what he does. If you hear a big shout, you'll know why. So just putting on a few other bits and pieces. I decided I needed a bit more gold. Why not? Down in that love you section. So I pulled out that gorgeous gold leaf because it's beautiful. And I need a little flower. So I'm hunting around for a little flower. And then I find this one, which I think is perfect, but where I want it to go is on top of the title, and I don't want it on top of the title, so I will be pulling the title off and then putting it back on again, so it is on top of the title instead of on top of the flower instead of the flower on top of it. Gosh, I'm having trouble with words today, aren't I? Goodness me. Because I think that's a much better look to have the title on top of the flower. You want to be able to read the title. So you might have noticed then I only just stuck a tiny bit of double-sided tape on the end of that gold leaf. It was just so that it could have the ability to stick up a little bit, because it was going over across the tulle. I didn't want to try and stick it down on top of the tulle. I want that sort of texture, that standing up concept happening there with the tulle and with the leaf. So that's pretty cool. So sticking on this flower, as you can see, I pulled off my letters in U, and then they'll go back straight on top because the foam is either still there or it will be sticking directly to the flower itself now. So that's perfect. So the layout is starting to come together. I'm now pulling out a few of the puffy stickers. I can't believe I brought this collection because I love those puffy heads, and yet I haven't even used them on anything yet. Oh my goodness. They will be coming. I will be using them. So just popping out the last few bits and bobs of these stickers here. Uh-oh. Are you waking up now? What else? No, I think I'm starting to pack up. I think I feel like ephemera-wise I'm pretty much done. So I like to pack up as I go because it just gives me another excuse to have a look at what I've got and see if I've missed anything. Uh-oh, I might be going soon, guys. Little monkey might need me. Someone's waking up. So, yep, just putting things away now. No, I don't need anything else from there. So that must mean I'm almost finished. So just packing up the last few bits and pieces before I pull out the gold Heidi Shine, because I've got to have some gold Heidi Shine to finish off a layout that's got so many gold bits and bobs on it. Can't not have gold. So just giving that a bit of a shake, shake, shake. And it's going to get splattered around where the sort of white space is and the clusters are. I'm shaking my Hardy Shine really poorly, basically, because my little man is asleep on the floor beside me. Not on the floor, that sounds dreadful. He's in his bassinet. And I don't want to wake him by shaking the Hardy Shine, so I'm shaking it quite softly because of the little ball that's inside them. And so I flick that all out, and then I just get a few of these beautiful little pearlies to just pop in a couple of spots around the page. Not very many, not too many spots, just and they're really tiny, so they just add a nice little effect to the end of the layout, which I think is really cute. I love me some enamel dot type things. They're not actually enamel dots, obviously, but that's that same concept. And you can see there I'm just using a needle to put those down with, because the point, they're so tiny you can't just hold them with your fingers. It just would not work. So here are the close-ups. I do love how this layout turned out. I am probably going to keep the title the same, even though it's the same as one of the other titles not so long ago. But I just think it really matches with the layout. And I've already done it, so it seems such a shame to then have to pull it apart again. So I hope you like it. Please like and subscribe. You tell me if you think I should change the title or not. And check out our next video coming up soon.